Hi, and we're live. Today I want to read to you a little bit from Thinking of Rich from the original 1937 classic, Think of Rich by Napoleon Hill, 13 Principles to Think of Rich Philosophy, the condensed version. And I'm going to read to the chapter on the power of decision. And then also, I'm going to read to you a little bit from the chapter on decision in the updated, revised edition of Napoleon Hill. Edition of Think and Grow Rich from 1937, but it's updated with new information. Just by the way, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill's 1937 classic, is regarded by many as the world's greatest book on successful living. Now, in a special compact edition, here's the complete experience of the Think and Grow Rich in an exquisitely brief and faithful condensation. In less than an hour of reading, you can read this book in an hour and be updated with all the 13 principles of success by Napoleon Hill. Get a summary. It's good for the advanced reader as well as the beginner reader. In less than 1 hour of reading, you'll learn all 13 of Napoleon Hill's famous steps to wealth and achievement. The mastery summation of Hill's original landmark explains, quote, you'll be learning in this book why you must write down your goals, the immeasurable importance of setting a definite major aim, how to benefit from hunches and sudden inspirations, the magic of persistence in the face of setbacks, and how you deal with adversity and defeat and setbacks and temporary failure, and how do you bounce back from that, how to program your mind for success, and the extraordinary power of the mastermind group, what it means to be in a mastermind group, the psychic and the economic advantages of the benefit of the mastermind group, and also as some say it is also called the talent bank, where you gain a group of talented or individuals with unique talents, and you bring them all together with you in it, you giving your talents as well and contributing to the group, and then you for a definite chief aim and achieving the goal. That's sort of the mastermind alliance. It's called the driving force, the power of the mastermind. Many successful individuals have said that they attributed their entire fortune to the mastermind principle. So it's an important chapter to read in this book, the power of the mastermind, and then also you want to put that into action. So I want to read to you from Decision. It's the chapter 7. It's called Decision, the power of decision. Many motivational experts say it's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. It takes a decision to change your financial future for the forever. So it's your, and in any moment, you can make a decision to change your life forever. A true decision means cutting off from any other possibility that this is my definite purpose, this is my goal, and I'm going to achieve it no matter what it takes. That's power and decision. And in any moment, you can make it. You can just decide. That's the seventh step to riches, decision. Power of decision. Napoleon Hill's classic, 1937, Think and Grow Rich. Analysis of several hundred people who had accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark said that decision was the deciding factor. Schools that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and changing these decisions slowly, if and when they were changed. People who failed to accumulate money without exception had the habit of reaching decisions, if at all, very slowly, and of changing these decisions quickly and often. What's more, the majority of people who fail to accumulate money sufficient for their needs tend to be easily influenced by the opinions of others. Opinions are the cheapest commodity on earth. Everyone has a flock of opinions ready to be wished upon anyone who will accept them. If you're influenced by opinions when you reach decisions, you will not succeed in any undertaking, much less in that of transmuting your own desire into money. If you're influenced by the opinions of others, you'll have no desire of your own. Keep your own counsel. when you begin to put into practice the principles described here by reaching your own decisions and following them. Take no one into confidence except the members of your mastermind group, and be very sure in the selection of your group that you choose only those, this is important, who are in complete sympathy and harmony and understanding with your purpose. Harmonious conduct is key. It is so important that Mr. Carney, in his association with others, gave business associates double and triple raise in their salary based on their ability to cooperate and get along with others, and harmonious conduct and a pleasing personality. That's how much he valued that in a business associate. So having a pleasing personality, being harmonious, and sympathy and understanding with others, and the ability to cooperate with others. Harmonious conduct is so important. Working together as a team for a definite chief aim or a goal. Close friends and relatives, while not meaning to, often handicap one through opinions and sometimes through ridicule, which is meant to be humorous. Thousands of men and women carry inferior complexes with them throughout life because some well-meaning but ignorant person destroy their confidence through opinions or ridicule. That's why you really want to keep an eye on what goes into your mind, through the people around you and your environment. Don't let any negative stuff get inside, or reject it and put that out, and only, positive intake in your mind. Feed your mind positive good things. Your mind's like a garden. Feed it with positive information, and don't let any people's negative opinion of you or their ridicule, and stay away from the naysayers and say no to negativity and any about you achieving your goals or your dreams. Only share those dreams and goals with the people that are close to you in your mastermind group, and don't listen to the naysayers. That way you won't have to listen to any ridicule or opinions of others, which actually mean nothing in the long term, because your goal, you're so fixated on your goal and your purpose that everything is just, you're so determined, you have that vision. Okay. So block out all that mind frick, focus on the vision, and keep your mind closed against all negative influences, including from friends, relatives, and acquaintances. That was one of the 4 steps regarding persistence. I'll just go over that. 4 steps were, again, a definite purpose with a burning desire for achievement. Number 2 is a plan with continuous action, and number 3, which is so closely to decision, is keep your mind closed tightly against all negative influences, including from friends, relatives, and acquaintances. And 4 is have a plan and purpose that is encouraged by 1 or 2 more people that encourage you towards your definite chief aim, that encourage you towards your plan and purpose. So those are the 4 steps to developing persistence. Well, that key is keeping all negative influences out, whether it's people or environment, and just focus on your goals and your ambitions. And that's your decision. You can make that decision. It's the power of decision. Any moment you can make a decision to change your life forever. So make it now. Make that decision that you're not going to let anything stop you from achieving your goals, and that you're an outstanding success, and that nothing in this world can stop you. Okay? Great. You have a mind of your own. Use it and reach your own decisions. If you need facts or information from others to enable you to reach decisions, as you probably will in many instances, acquire these facts or secure the information you need quietly without disclosing your purpose. Those who reach decisions promptly and definitely know what they want and generally get it. Leaders in every walk of life decide quickly and firmly. That is the major reasons why they are leaders. The world has a habit of making room for the man whose words and actions show that he knows where he is going. That completes the power decision, 7 Steps to Riches from the condensed version. Now I'm going to read to you from the updated, revised edition of Think and Grow Rich from 1937. And I love this quote on the very beginning of the chapter. It's very motivational, from Brian Tracy, one of the motivational experts, author of Getting Rich in Your Own Way and Maximum Achievement, Success is a Journey. be a sales superstar. Brian Tracy's probably written over 40 books. He writes about 2 or 3 a year. Um, but he said the best single book on personal success ever written was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And he says it made him a millionaire starting from nothing. He went from zero to millionaire, self-made by reading. He endorses Think and Grow Rich, and he says that this book helped him to become a multi-millionaire. So you can become a millionaire. I can become a millionaire, and everyone else can be a millionaire. And throughout that, actually, we're helping everyone around us, our family, friends, and the world. And we can make a difference. Chapter 7, Decision. The Mastery of Procrastination, the 7 Steps to Riches. It's fun to read you a quote at the beginning of the chapter. It says, God seems to throw himself on the side of the individual who knows exactly what he wants if he is determined just to get that. One of those attributes is definite. This is a decision, the mastery of which represents the 7 steps to riches. And it's on that step that we will now focus our attention. One of Henry Ford's most outstanding qualities was his habit of reaching decisions quickly and definitely and changing them slowly. This quality was so pronounced in Mr. Ford that it gave him the reputation being obstinate. It was this quality which prompted Mr. Ford to continue to manufacture his famous Model T when all of his advisors, many of the purchasers of the car, were urging him to change it. Mr. Ford's habit of decision, definiteness of decision, was his key to achieving success in the motor industry. The majority of people who fail to accumulate money sufficient for their needs are generally easily influenced by the opinions of others, or they permit newspapers and the gossiping neighbors to do the thinking for them. Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Everyone has a flock of opinions ready to be wished upon anyone who will accept them. If you're influenced by your others or opinions when you reach decisions, you'll not succeed in any undertaking, much less in transmuting your own desire into money. If you're too easily influenced by the opinion of others, you will have no desire of your own. Again, as I said before, accept the members of your mastermind group and be very sure in your selection of the group you choose only those who will be in complete sympathy and harmony with your purpose. You have a brain and a mind of your own. Use them and reach your own decisions. If you need facts or information from other people to enable you to reach decisions, as you probably will in many instances, acquire these facts or secure the information you need to acquire them without disclosing your purpose. Tell the world what you intend to do, but first show it. This is the equivalent of saying that actions, deeds, not words, are what count most. Freedom or death on a decision. The value of decisions depends on the courage required in render the great decisions which have served the foundation of civilization were reached by assuming great risks, which often meant the possibility of death. Lincoln's decision to issue his famous proclamation of emancipation, which gave freedom to the slaves of America, was rendered with full understanding that this act would turn thousands of friends and political supporters against him. He knew, too, that the carrying out of the proclamation would mean death to thousands of men on the battlefield. In the end, it cost Lincoln his own life. That required courage. Socrates' decision to drink the cup of poison rather than compromise in his personal belief was a decision of courage. It turned time ahead 1,000 years and gave to people the unborn right to freedom of thought and speech. The decision of General Robert E. Lee when he came to the parting of the way that the Union took up the cause of the South was a decision of courage, for he well knew that it might cost him his own life and that it would surely cost the lives of others. But the greatest decision of all time, as far as any American citizen is concerned, was reached in Philadelphia on July 4th, 1776, when 56 individuals signed their names to a document which they well knew would bring freedom to all Americans or leave every one of the 56 hanging from the gallows. You have heard of this famous document, but you may have not drawn upon it the great lesson of personal achievement it so plainly taught. We've all heard of people and names of Valley Forge, Yorktown, George Washington, and Lord Cornwallis, but we know little of the real forces back of these names, dates, and places. We know still of that intangible power which ensured us freedom long before Washington's armies reached Yorktown. The purpose is rather to give greater attention to the astounding power that was the real cause of this victory. It is nothing short of tragedy that the writers of history have missed entirely even the slightest reference to the irresistible power which gave birth and freedom to the nation destined to set up new standards of independence for all the peoples of the earth. I say it is a tragedy because it is the self-same power which must be used by every individual who surmounts the difficulties of life and forces life to pay the price asked. Two of the members of the assembly were John Hancock and Samuel Adams. They had both the power of decision to make decisions. It required tremendous courage. Long live their names. They spoke up courageously and declared that a move must be made to eject all British soldiers from Boston. Remember this, a decision in the minds of two individuals might properly be called the beginning of the freedom which we now in the United States now enjoy. Remember too that the decision of these two men called for faith and courage because it was dangerous. It is interesting also to observe that these important changes usually begin in the form of definite decision. In the minds of a relatively small number of people, few of us know that the history of our country well enough to realize that John Hancock, Samuel Adams, and Richard Henry Lee of the province of Virginia were the real fathers of our country. Mark well this incident. It was the beginning of the organization of a far-flung power destined to give freedom to you and to me. The mastermind had already been organized. It consisted of Adams, Lee, and Hancock. It is the gospel writer says in Matthew 18:19, I tell you further that if two of you agree upon the earth concerning anything for which you ask, it will come to you from my Father who is in heaven. Take notice that the procedure consisted of the first organized planning of the disgruntled colonists. In union, there is strength. Samuel Adams had the choice of two decisions. He could seize his opposition and receive personal bribes, or he could continue and run the risk of being hanged. Clearly, the time had come when Adams was forced to reach instantly a decision, which could have cost his life. The majority of people would have found it difficult to reach such a decision. The majority would have sent back an evasive reply, but not Adams. He insisted upon Colonel Fenton's word of honor that the colonel would deliver the governor the answer exactly as Adams would give it to him. Adams' answer was this: then he may tell Governor Gage that I trust I have long since made peace with the King of Kings. No personal consideration shall induce me to abandon the righteous cause of my country and tell Governor Gage it is the advice of Samuel Adams to him no longer to insult the feelings of an actually exacerbated people. Samuel Adams and John Hancock, whose offenses are too flagitious nature to admit of any consideration, as one might put it more calmly, Adams and Hancock were on the spot. The threat of the rape governor forced the two men to reach another decision. Equally dangerous, they hurriedly called a secret meeting of their staunchest followers. Here, the mastermind began to take on momentum. After the meeting had been called to order, Adams locked the door, placed the key in his pocket, and informed all present that it was imperative that a Congress of the colonists be organized and that no one should leave the room until the decision for such a Congress had been reached. Great excitement followed. There was a decision to make it the first Continental Congress to be held in Philadelphia on September 5th, 1774. Remember this date. It is more important than July 4th, 1776. If there had been no decision to hold a Continental Congress, could have been no signing of the Declaration of Independence. Before that time arrived, there was another person on the rise. His name was Thomas Jefferson of the province of Virginia, whose relationship to Lord Dunmore was as strained as that of Hancock and Adams for the governor. Inspired by the threat, one of Jefferson's colleagues, Patrick Henry, boldly spoke his mind, concluding his remarks with a sentence which shall remain forever classic: "If this be treason, then make the most of it." It was such men as these who, without power, without authority, without military strength, and without money, sat in solemn consideration of the destiny of the colonies, beginning at the opening of the First Continental Congress and continuing at intervals for 2 years until June 7, 1776, when Richard Henry Lee rose, addressed the chair, and startled the assembled and made this motion: "Gentlemen, I make the motion that these united colonies and our right ought to be free and independent states, that they be absolved from the allegiance to the British crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain ought to be totally dissolved." The document was drawn on June 28th. The original draft was read before the Congress. For several days it was discussed, altered, and made ready. On July 4th, 1776, Thomas Jefferson stood before the Assembly and fearlessly read the most momentous decision ever placed upon paper. When in the course of human events it is necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitled them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. When Jefferson finished, the document was voted upon, accepted, and signed by the 56 representatives, everyone staking his own life upon his decision to write his name. By that decision came into existence a nation destined to bring to people forever the privilege of making decisions. By decisions made in a similar spirit of faith, and only by such decisions can people solve their personal problems and win for themselves high estates of material and spiritual wealth. Let us never forget this. Analyze the events which led to the Declaration of Independence and be convinced that this nation, which now holds a position of commanding respect and power among all nations in the world, was born of a decision created by a mastermind consisting of 56 persons. Note well the fact that it was their decision which ensured the success of Washington's armies, because the spirit of that decision was in the heart of every soldier who fought with them. It serves as a spiritual power which recognizes no such thing as failure. Note also, with great personal benefit, that the power which gave this nation its freedom is the self-same power that must be used by every individual who becomes self-determining. This power is made up of the 13 principles described in this book. It will not be difficult to detect in the story of the Declaration of Independence at least 6 of these principles: desire, decision, faith, persistence, the mastermind, and organized planning. Throughout this philosophy, we found the suggestion that thought, backed by strong desire, has a tendency to transmit itself into its physical equivalent. Before passing on, I wish to leave with you the suggestion that one may find in the story, and in the story of the organization of the United States Steel Corporation, Chapter 2, a perfect description of the method by which thought made this astounding transformation. In your search for the secret of the method, do not look for a miracle, because you will not find it. You'll find only the eternal laws of nature. These laws are available to every person who has the faith and the courage to use them. They may be used to bring freedom to a nation, or to accumulate riches, or to accomplish any other worthwhile goal. There is no charge save the time necessary to understand and appropriate them. Those who reach decisions promptly and definitely know what they want and generally get it. The leaders in every walk of life decide quickly and firmly. That is the major reason why they are leaders. The world has the habit of making room for those individuals whose words and actions show that they know where they are going. Indecision is a habit which usually begins in youth. The habit takes on permanency as the youth goes through the grade school, high school, and even through college without definiteness or purpose. The major weakness of all educational systems is that they neither teach nor encourage the habit of definite decision. It would be beneficial if no college would permit the enrollment of any student until the student declared his or her major purpose in matriculating. It would be of still greater benefit if every student in grade school were compelled to accept training in the habit of the decision and forced to pass satisfactory examination before being permitted to advance in the grades. The habit of indecision acquired because of the deficiency of our school system goes with students in the occupation they choose, if in fact they do choose their occupations at all. Generally, young people just out of school seek any job they can be found. They take the first position they find because they have fallen into the habit of indecision. 98 out of every 100 people working for wages today are in the positions they hold because they lack definiteness of decision to plan a definite position and the knowledge of how to choose an employer. Definiteness of decision always requires courage, sometimes very great courage. The 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence staked their lives on the decision to affix their signatures to the document. Individuals who reach a definite decision to procure a particular job and make life pay the price they ask do not stake their lives on that decision. They stake their economic freedom, financial independence, riches, and desirable business and professional positions are not within the reach of the person who neglects or refuses to expect, plan, and demand these things. The person who desires riches in the same spirit that Samuel Adams desired freedom for the colonies is sure to accumulate wealth. In Chapter 6 on organized planning, you are given complete instructions for marketing every type of personal service. You are also given detailed information on how to choose the employer you prefer and a particular job you desire. These instructions will be of no value to you unless you definitely decide to organize them into a plan of action, and unless you pursue that plan with persistence, which is the eighth step to riches. That concludes the chapter on persistence, on decision, the mastery of procrastination, the power of persistence. It's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. And that's today's daily reading. Thank you for listening, and I hope it was value to you, and you gained something out of it, some benefit out of it. Thanks. I'll see you again. Bye. God bless.